Hi, everybody. Today I'm here with Zain Kahn, a master creator and the head of marketing at Prequel. Prequel is a boot camp for future creators. You can find them at joinprequel.com. Okay, Zain, I'm so glad to be here talking to you about this. What is a creator?
A creator is essentially anyone who is creating content for the purpose of adding value to someone else's life. Could be entertainment, could be education, could be career focused, could be a host of different things. But that would be my very basic definition of what a creator is. I do think anyone can be a creator. And the thing about being a creator is obviously the creators that we do know are, folks who might have millions of followers on Instagram or YouTube or whatever. And looking at that can be quite intimidating. But there are a lot of creators who, have smaller followings, 1,000, 10,000, 20,000. They've built a career out of this. Um, or they've used it to kind of, amplify their career. So, I originally, for example, am a marketer, uh, would not call myself like a creator. Like this is not how I started out. I simply wanted to build an audience because I wanted people to learn about what I'm working on. And I wanted there to be something that wasn't just networking. Like I wanted something to supplement networking or something to replace it because I wasn't particularly good at it. So yes, I think anyone is able to build an audience. Depends to what degree you want to build an audience. Maybe not everyone can sort of become like a mega creator, but still, I think everyone can build an audience and I think it can benefit everyone in a certain way. I think obviously from a career perspective, maybe you want to be a full-time creator, maybe you wanted to kind of support your career, like, something that I did and hundreds of thousands of other folks are doing, or, you want to create an audience because you're passionate about something and you want to share that topic with someone or what you've learned or the insights around that topic with your audience.
So you said anyone can be a creator. What at the core of this makes a creator successful? What are the skills that someone needs to have?
I think the first thing that a creator needs to have is curiosity. Uh, the crux of, creating compelling content is creating something that someone else finds interesting. And what someone else finds interesting is very likely to be something that you yourself find to be very interesting as well. And that basically means, going down the rabbit hole. Maybe you're watching a ton of YouTube videos, maybe you're reading a ton of books, maybe you're talking to a ton of interesting people, maybe you're tinkering and, experimenting with stuff at home. So essentially, I think it starts with being fundamentally very curious about something and sharing an insight with someone or sharing something that drives an emotion. So could be insightful, could be funny, could be emotional, could be impactful, but essentially you are trying to figure out something that no one else has yet figured out. So I think it starts with curiosity, and I think the second most important piece is persistence. Even if you look at all the big creators, everyone started out small. No one had big hits in the beginning. Even folks who are purely famous as creators, so folks like Gary Vee or Mr. Beast or a few other folks, they weren't successful in the beginning. A lot of their early videos or Twitter threads or blog posts were duds. It took quite a while for them to kind of learn how it works, how to write compelling content, how to find things that people find interesting. And it took in some cases it took multiple years. In my case it took multiple months, but in some cases it does take multiple years. But it definitely is a very fulfilling and worthwhile journey for folks who do want to build an audience. I think to some degree these are like innate things that I think everyone has. So I think every kid is interested in something, right? Like there's no kids that are just sitting down every day and just staring at a wall for 20 hours a day. Every kid is interested in something. Maybe it's school, maybe it's not. Maybe they're interested in sports, maybe they're interested in video games, maybe they're interested in reading books, maybe they're interested in sci-fi. Every kid is interested in something. I just don't remember like ever meeting a kid who's not interested in something. Every kid is obsessed with something. So I think the curiosity part, I think the good news there is, yeah, I think everyone has that. I think the persistence piece is if you do find something that you are curious about, and that's why I said curiosity first, you are much, much, much more likely to be persist with it essentially. As opposed to, something that you don't really find interesting or something that you're not really fascinated by. So I think both of those go hand in hand. And I think, yeah, I think to some degree, I think every child, I think every teenager, and I think most adults do have it.
One of the things I was thinking is that a skill that maybe is important for every kid in school today is to figure out how to build an audience.
I agree with that. I think schools are amazing at teaching hard skills, but schools do a very terrible job of teaching soft skills. So if you want to, learn how to do arithmetic, or if you want to learn how to do algebra, or if you want to learn how to, do physics or anything else, school is pretty amazing for that. It'll train you for the hard part of any job. What it doesn't train you for, and this applies to both schools and colleges, what they don't train you for are, the person-to-person skills that you need on the job. So school, I like to think of school as a single person game, right? You show up, you do the work, you show up to the exam, and you get a grade at the end of it. You don't really need to talk to other people, occasional group project, but for the most part, your work is happening solo mode. But in your career, it is a multiplayer game. There's no way that you can go into a company or a nonprofit or into any organization and work all by yourself and never interact with another human being and sort of do well in your career. At least I'm not aware of any careers where you can do that. The whole point of an organization is people come together, they work together, and then they produce something that is larger than the sum of their parts. And that's where a lot of critical skills like learning how to write effectively, learning how to persuade other people, learning how to communicate properly, learning how to listen to other folks. Those are a lot of skills that sort of get left out. And that's where audience building, in my experience, has become extremely handy for me. So a good example of this is writing. There's a joke that I saw recently. It said, if you go to college, they say, explain this to me in 500 words or more. But in the real world, folks will say, explain this to me in like less than 2 minutes or I'm out of here, right? So the way that college teaches you to write versus how people actually communicate in real life is extremely different. And those are skills that, I think something like audience building does help with. I think similarly, learning how to persuade people. So at the end of the day, if you're making compelling content, you're essentially persuading someone to engage with your content. You're getting them to like it, you're getting them to follow you, or you're getting them to send you an email, or you're getting them to give you an internship, or you're trying to get them to give you a job. It's definitely not things that I learned in college, definitely not things that I learned in school. And I think those are such critical skills that get left out that something like audience building really does teach you.
All right, well, so we're missing that. Our kids aren't getting it in middle school or high school. So now there's an opportunity to come take a class with you to get all of these skills and have your kids understand that how the new world works. Tell us a little bit about your course.
We're basically doing a course that is going to teach kids how to be creators, and we're going to teach them how to do it across multiple platforms. That includes, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and we're trying to bring some of the best people across these platforms to come teach it. So for Twitter and LinkedIn, I'll personally be coming in and teaching it. I've got, almost 500,000 followers across both platforms. We also have my good friend Adit coming in. Adit, started as a teenager, has a couple of 100,000 followers as well, and has made over $100,000, and he's still in college, by the way. Similarly, we have Lena coming to teach TikTok. Lena has almost 1.5 million followers on TikTok. She's doing an amazing job there. Probably one of the best people in the world that you can learn from. And similarly for Instagram, we have Kentaro coming in, has a couple 100,000 followers, originally Japanese, learned how to speak Spanish, moved to Mexico, extremely interesting person. So, we're trying to bring the best in the world to kind of teach kids how to build an audience. The program's going to last 2 months. And, the course is basically very, hands-on, one-on-one mentorship sessions with all these creators who are going to teach kids how to do this and share their playbooks with them. And then there's also going to be workshops where, kids go ahead and learn and basically put the theory into practice in terms of, how do you pick an interesting topic? How do you create your profile? How do you get your first 100 followers? How do you then, leverage your audience and, try to get job opportunities or internships or even monetize your audience? So, in a nutshell, that's, basically what the program is going to be about.
Zain Kahn, thanks so much for being here with us. This was really interesting. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.